elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. When you elevate, the second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah.
Well, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devin, as always, and we have our best friend Nick with us for our 100th episode. We definitely wanted to plan it out where we did our 100th episode live with you guys. Moving forward, we're going to be switching up the podcast structure a little bit. You know, the Thursday brews will probably get taken out, and then we're going to do two lives during the week, like one during the week sporadically, and then one on Friday nights. But as usual, we'll keep the Monday guest one, normal. So it'll be the Monday guest, and then we'll have, 1 to 2 lives throughout the week, just depending on our availability and also like the topics that we get from you guys. But since it is our 100th episode, right, we wanted to do it a little bit differently and, do a little raffle to start. So the first raffle we're going to do right in the beginning, just because it was basically, if you shared it, we basically reposted it, and we'll be basically doing a raffle right now for the winner of that. For the winner of the first raffle, you'll basically be getting a custom pre-released, okay? It hasn't even been out yet. It hasn't been marketed yet. It hasn't anything, but it'll be a Mindset Cafe hat as well as one of the Mindset Cafe shirts that will be in the Mindset Cafe shop soon. But you're going to be getting it. So once we spin and get a winner, Nick will be spinning and get a winner right now. We'll send you a DM, and then we'll get your address or where you want us to ship it to, and we'll go ahead and ship you the hat and the shirt for Mindset Cafe. The second raffle, though, we'll be doing something in the middle of the live. I don't want to tell you when because I don't want you hopping off and hopping back on, but we'll be doing something during the live, and then the winner of that second raffle will basically be getting you'll be getting a shirt, a Mindset Cafe shirt, as well, or a hat you can choose, as well as you'll be getting your pre-workout right from First Form. You'll be getting a First Form pre-workout. You'll be getting a First Form intro workout or BCAAs, and then you'll be getting your post-workout, which is going to be, your protein, right? And then there's some other flavors and stuff like that. So the winner of that will also get, your shipping address and see where you want us to send it. But we'll let you choose between the different flavors and choose a flavor that you like, right? So if you'd like to start it off, Nick, for the raffle of the hat and shirt, the Mindset Cafe pre-released drop.
Got you. All right. So good luck to everybody. Here we go. They can see it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of.
I can't see it. So
It is
Surreal.
Surreal Golf.
Congratulations, Surreal Golf. So he got the exclusive Mindset Cafe hat and shirt. Congratulations, bro. So Devin will take care of that for you and send it out to you.
Send that over to you. So we'll be doing that second raffle during the middle of the show, maybe at the end of the show. Who knows? Right,
none of that fake love, just tuning in to see if you won.
Yeah. And if you're not on the live when we do that raffle, so even if you participate and you're in the raffle for that one, if we call a raffle winner and you're not on the live, then sorry about it, next winner, right? So with that being said, what I wanted to do today, and I talked to Nick about it, was recap basically 100 episodes, right? 100 episodes is a lot when doing a podcast, between interviewing people, between myself or, in the beginning, Nick, just doing solo episodes, right? Nick got a little shy of doing solo episodes. So, we had to, split on that part, but we want to recap basically on the lessons or tools that we've gone through and learned throughout the process of what originally was the Strive Tribe podcast, and then transformed and molded into the Mindset Cafe. So basically the first lesson and first recap was from basically episode 3, and that's about setting goals. So I've been talking a lot, and I'm gonna let Nick handle this and throw him under the bus right out the gate. So Nick, what is the importance of, or let's recap kind of episode 3 on, setting goals, the importance of setting goals.
So when you're setting your goals, it's pretty much assigning your destination. Because if you don't have a destination, if you don't have a blueprint or an idea where you're going, you're aimlessly wandering. You're just moving. You know what I mean? There's no end goal. There's nothing to think of it like a map. A map, right? So when you get in your car and you're driving somewhere, you're not just getting in your car and driving for hours or driving forever in like fucking circles. You know what I mean? You're driving somewhere to get to a destination. So in the same sense, a goal is your destination of whatever whatever your goal is, or whatever you're trying to attain, or whatever you're trying to pursue.
Right.
And with it, tying in within that goal is your map, or your navigation. Pretty much it's following the steps that you have that you're following, that you've constructed priorhand to how you're going to get to such destination or to your goal. Yeah.
I mean, setting a goal is basically like, if you don't have a goal, right? Imagine saying you want to go on vacation, but you don't know where you're going to go, and you just get on a plane, right? And you don't know where the plane's going, and you don't know, if you're going to like it, so it's like setting your goal is setting that end destination, like you're saying. And then now, if you know what your end destination is, you can walk it backwards and set up the steps and outline the journey, right? Because not every journey is going to go according to plan, right? And that's okay, right? So it's not like you need to know basically all the steps laid out like it's, an IKEA furniture set, right? But it's one of those things where at least you can start working back and know the mile marks that you're trying to aim towards. And then as you're going along, you can adjust accordingly, right?
Just like a quick FYI for everybody that's listening, as Devin and I are like kind of recapping and reviewing kind of like, what we found was maybe not certainly our favorites, but like some key episodes. You guys can also feel free to comment and drop in your inputs and stuff on each topic that we go over. Like him and I are just not talking to ourselves. We want to hear as well, and we'll address your comments and your point of views in the comments as we hit each one, because we do like seeing what you guys have to also say about these things.
No, 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we like to hear ourselves talk, but it's one of those things where we like to, we do the lives. Otherwise we could have done this, just pre-recorded for ourselves. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where we like the engagement. We like, when you guys chip in and chime in on your perspectives, your point of views, or if you want us to explain something more, right? So with that being said, we'll dive into the next one. Mm-hmm. Basically, lesson recap number 2 from episode 9. This one isn't a direct tool like the last one, right? Setting goals. This one was from Nate's story of losing over 245 pounds, right? His story was crazy. And he's gone further than that. And actually when he started with us, I think it was that's when he started losing the 245. But before, he had lost like 100 pounds prior, right? So it was like almost like a total of 350 pounds that he lost. Mm-hmm. And when you think of that, it's crazy, because that's 1 to 2 additional humans, mm-hmm. right? Depending on the person's body size, but still, it's like, you have to think that wasn't an easy feat. And I'm not saying that, it was easy for him, or you just have to work out and you'll lose it. He completely changed his lifestyle, right? He set his goal. It wasn't, the exact number on the scale, but he set his goal of basically getting healthy. He set his goal. Then as he started going and getting healthier, losing that 100 pounds, and he's like, okay, well, I want to see muscles. I want to see a six pack. I want to see these things. And those other goals started happening after he started to achieve the first goal. Yeah. And then it started getting more specific on each of those goals. So the lesson behind that is, it's not the fact that, saying, anyone can do it, it's easy. It's the fact that sometimes in life, you have to adjust your lifestyle habits to fit the goals that you're trying to obtain. Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting the goals or the results that you want, maybe it's because it's some of the actions or the habits that you're normally taking.
Right. And I think, like, for me too, like with that episode, when we were talking to him, like what really hit home, like at least like hit me hard, even though like, I'm not in really I'm not relating to exactly the same situations as him, as he went through. But when he said that, like the starting point was like a big thing, to where like it just took that one instant, like kind of realization, that moment from that, I don't fucking want this anymore.
Yep.
Like when he said that I'm tired of looking in the mirror and being unhappy. And so that's what the light switch was like. I'm going to do whatever it takes to fucking get there. And then how his mind frame, his mindset, even and like the structure, like you said, of like him putting in the work and like the, what he was doing just changed over time as like it became more like the foundation was like, all right, I want this change. There's no more fucking excuses. I'm just going to do it. Right. And then it just, as he progressed and like to where closer to where he is now, it became so fine tuned and so detailed.
Right. And then I don't want to, we have basically 15 points, today. Like at first I was like, well, let's do 11 or let's do 10. And then we kept going through and 100 episodes. There was a handful that we skipped over as well, just because, to try to fit everything into an hour episode is tough. But one more point on Nate's story real quick, I thought of it when Nick was saying, fine tuning and stuff. Right. And it also goes into sometimes in life, right? For Nate's story, for example, even his personality didn't fit basically what he wanted to. He wanted to be more social. He wanted to not be the person that was walking to a room and then, people are looking at him because he was almost 500 pounds, right? He wanted to be the person that people looked at and been like, oh, damn, right? But when he lost 100 pounds, all of a sudden he wasn't the most extrinsic person and walking around and greeting everybody. When he first started here, he was super shy. Like we would, give him corrections and stuff, and he would just, okay, for sure. And then by the end, it's all of a sudden now he's grunting, throwing weights and, talking and, everything. And it's awesome to see, like, sometimes in life when you start to hit those milestones, that imposter syndrome and that self-doubt starts to fade, but you have to do the work and trust the process and go through it a little bit to make and see that change, right? Because you're not gonna have all of the benefits. You're not gonna reap the rewards of everything right out the gate, but it will come over time. But you have to continuously stick to it, right?
That's a good episode. You guys should listen to it.
Yeah, the audio might have been a little rough. We're still learning how to do it, but it is what it is. So lesson recap number 3 from episode 11. This one is going to be going into Nick's favorite saying: "How you do one thing is how you do everything." Right? I'll let you start this one off. I'll let you just start this off. This is your favorite saying.
So it is one of my favorite sayings, and because if you actually think about it, like honestly, no bullshit. When I make I think of it every single day, and when I do anything, when I do any task, if I'm doing something work related. It sounds kind of weird, but even like if I've heard it in a podcast or anything like that, if I'm at Target and like I don't put the cart back, something inside of me is like, bro, like, do you know later on that like if I just leave this shit here, the I don't know what they're called, but the guys that collect the cart boys or whatever, like, they can be going through whatever they're going through, but the point is like at some point they're gonna have to put in that extra effort out of their way to, kind of take the cart that I just left and fucking butt fuck wherever the fuck I left it, and then bring it to where the carts are supposed to go.
Yeah.
But using that as an example, it's kind of like that one thing that me myself, I know I like to hold myself up to a standard of doing the right thing, and even the small things are ones that count the most, because in the smallest action that we do on a daily basis and with everything else, it kind of chips away at like the bigger things over time. In a sense, you know what I mean? Like here at the gym, like the little pieces of paper or whatever the hell, the dirt on the floor. If I see it and then my brain knows that it's like, okay, it's there. It's like if I walk right past it, something inside me is like, dude, why the fuck did you just walk by that? Or what? You know what I mean? Because like I know what the right thing is to do.
Right.
You know what kind of individual you are. You know what I mean? So knowing that you're supposed to pick it up. And I know that if I pick it up, I'm going to feel better about myself because I know that was the right thing to do. And the standards that I hold myself up to, like a high performing individual, or at least I strive to be, it fulfills that bucket. Right. You know what I mean?
No, and it kind of goes into like one of the topics that we're talking about later in the episode series. The devil's in the details, right? It's one of those things where that's another episode. It takes a little different perspective on this topic as well. But it's one of those things where when you start to train yourself to do everything to the full capability of yourself, whether you're tired, whether you're motivated, whether, you feel like it or not, you're going to do everything to the best of your ability, or, not skipping a step just because you feel lazy. It's easy just to leave the cart next to your car, but it takes less than a minute just to walk it and put it into the little thing, right? But now when you're in work or you're at home, you're not going to wait to do the dishes. You're not going to wait. You just do things before you do things because you need to do them versus like, I don't feel like it right now, right? So it's a skill and a tool that is a mental process that starts to build, again, it's a bricklayer, technique, right? Going into the next lesson recap, number 4 from episode 27, a little bit of a jump. At least I showed up mindset, right? This one came from before we actually opened the gym. We actually did this Strive 11 in the park, and one of my clients came and she's like, well, at least I showed up. And you hear that a lot as a trainer, and you hear that a lot in things, right? At least I showed up. It's like, okay, so would you say that to your kids? Would you say that to your wife? Would you say that to your husband? Well, at least I showed up. At least I'm here for this date, right? It's like, obviously that gives a perception, or it gives that, that feeling to the other person, but it also shows that you don't care. Now, when I said it, and what I mean by it is, people go to the gym and they'll take a selfie, and it shows that you were there, but did you really do anything to progress yourself, right? So when the client actually told me this, at least I showed up, and then I don't know how it came to my mind, or how, sometimes you already know, I just, fire off quick things. And when she said it, she smiled and I smiled, but I was like, I mean, you can go to a library and not read a book,
Yeah.
And then she was just like, and I was like, so all I'm saying is you're already here. You might as well do it, right? At least you showed up. Now, okay, now you showed up. Now just do the work. You're already here. Otherwise, you're just wasting your day, you're wasting your time, right? So at least I showed up mindset. Like, if that's what you are starting to believe, and that's how you feel about certain things, I realize that just showing up is wasting your life.
Yeah, I think like that goes with like the intent as well, because like what Devin's saying is, when you show up, it doesn't mean that it has to be, for example, it's
not showing up. It's at least I
showed up. Like, so we're talking about the workout wise. It's not saying like, oh, you have to perform exactly at the, kind of like the same maximum peak every single time. Like, for example, like if you're well rested, you're well nutritioned at a certain point, and then you come and work out, obviously you're going to be at like the strongest you've been. You're going to be at like at 100% stamina endurance. But if you've had at the end of the week, a long week, you didn't get much sleep, whatever the bullshit things that happen, it's like, obviously you're not going to have the same output. But yes, you're going to show up. But when you did, at least you showed up. Did you give 100% intent? Did you give 100% effort of what you had in the tank? Right. Or did you just show up just to show up? But during your workout, you kind of like just kind of pity patty, because like, in your mind, you being there was solely enough. Yeah. When like the effort wasn't at 100% capacity, then you might as well just fucking stage yourself. Yeah, so
I mean, it goes into like, you combine this, and it's all a word game, and the word game isn't like just how you say it, but it's how you tell yourself it, right? So instead of saying like, at least I just showed up, right? Take out the at least and be like, all I have to do is show up, right? And all I have to do was just showing up. It's because you've built that skill, or you're building that skill of how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So as long as I show up, like I don't feel like it. Like I need to just show up at the gym, and then now basically my body's gonna take over. Like, we got this. I just have to show up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just a flip on how you look at it in perspective wise. But the next lesson I want to go into, because it's the same topic in this, is never give up mindset, right? There's going to be times where you're tired. There's going to be days you don't feel like it. There's going to be events, right? Like I was at a funeral, this morning, right? I still showed up for all this, I still had to come get some work done. I was in the gym for, like the last hour, and now doing the podcast, right? Because at the end of the day, like, this is important as well. Like, I'm not saying that the funeral stuff wasn't important, but it wasn't like that was my day and okay, I'm just gonna, do whatever now. It's like, I did that. I knew I had other tasks and I still needed to get them done. Mm-hmm. Right. So obviously that's an extreme scenario, but it's one of those things where realize there's going to be bumps. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be things that you have to get done or vacations, all that stuff, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you're staying on track. When you come back in, you have an off day. Okay, you have an off day. It really shouldn't even be a whole day. It should be you have an off minute, an off hour. Okay, check back in. Don't give up. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. Hashtag Rocky, bitch.
Just doing the hashtags. No, I definitely, that's just funny side note. Like both you and I have that tattooed on us.
Well, I mean, it's because I had Strive tattooed on me and you had Never Give Up tattooed on you. And not to make it sound either which way, but he ended up getting Strive after we opened the gym. He got the Strive 11. And then I got our Never Give Up logo, as well. So it was,
yeah, I mean,
we have matching tattoos. Yep.
But like
they're not identical matching, okay?
Yeah, they're different and they're different spots. But just to kind of at least I close out that topic of the the never give up. Like it's just aside from the how you do one thing is how you do everything kind of like life motto. It's just like literally if something that we're working towards it means enough to you, like no matter what it takes, no matter what effort it is, day in, day out, you can't give up. You just never give up. It's like so cliche, but it's like it hits home.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, and then in the comments too, I joined, you can't back out now since you showed up, right? Because you won't get that time back, like Geraldine said. And then Geraldine also did laughing eyes, and crying eyes,
Shout out Lynette. Come on, honey.
So, but it's true, right? So the sayings are cliche to a degree, but at the same time, it's not just the saying; it's the meaning behind them. But going into a little bit deeper of a topic and a tool it's basically recap number 6, and this is gonna be from episode 37, and it's about being proactive versus reactive, right? And this can go. We'll talk about this in a little bit as well, but in life, things happen to us, right? You get into a car accident, your alarm goes off late, whatever, right? Now you're reactive to all these things. And reactiveness comes from your emotion, right? So when you make decisions, whether it's short-term, whether it's a long-term decision, you're making your decisions based off of the emotions you're feeling in the given moment, realize that you're living in a reactive way and you're going to stunt your growth to a degree. But if you can be proactive, meaning if you would have left on time and you weren't rushing out of the parking lot or whatever, maybe you wouldn't have gotten that car accident. If you set your phone and you set I'm looking straight at you. If you set your phone and you set an actual alarm clock, okay, now you have basically a backup plan, right? Even me, like I set like 25 alarms, right? And guess what my backup plan is? Gabby going, hey.
Bro, I have an alarm for every minute from like 3:20 till like 4:20, like every minute. You think I'm bullshitting? I'm not. Ask the goal. There's like an alarm for every minute.
So your second source would be putting the phone like under her ear.
So you wake me up.
No, you don't even tell her. You just do it. And she wakes up and she hits you and you're solid. Like, thank you. But again, making sure that you're being proactive on things, right? You're not waiting till the last minute to do a task. You're not waiting until the last minute to get a project done. You're working ahead of time. And even though you're like, I have plenty of time to get this done. It's like, you have plenty of time to get it done. So just do it now. And you have plenty of time to dick off. Right. So it's like, why push things back and then put all that external stress on us when there's already going to be external stress throughout the day? Like every day you're going to face a problem. It might be minor. It might be major. It doesn't matter. That's just life. Right. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, you already know that's the name of the game. Right. You're putting out fires. As you try to grow. So make sure that you're trying to be proactive versus reactive.
I'm getting called out in the comments, bro. I don't even want to look at it.
Nicole Twinsies. Alarms.
Hurry up, 100. You already know. Facts. No printer. Yeah, she threw me under the bus.
Oh yeah, Nicole even says that you set them on her. See, there you go. See?
142 alarms.
But I mean, it's one of those things where you have to do what you need to do to make sure that you get the results that you want, right? So if you're more proactive and you're prepared, preparation is the key to success.
Yeah, you have a long day at work, right? You don't know what's up. What if like you got to work overtime or you got to finish some stuff at work. You get off, you're kind of tired. There's traffic on the way home. Now you're going to bail out on the gym or on your workout or go to the groceries or, because of those not being proactive when you could have just put your stuff in the car. Because now when you did get off work, you're like, fuck, I'm not going to go to the gym anymore because I still have to go home. I still have to get my clothes, get my stuff when you were prepared.
Or you get home and then you're like, oh man, the dishes are here. It's like, well, you should have done the dishes when you were there.
It's a fucking domino.
Yeah. So it's like you should have done the dishes when you put them in the sink the first time. You should have grabbed your clothes. Like all these things are basically just preparation.
You should look in the mirror and just start swinging like this and be mad at yourself.
So the next lesson recap number 7 from episode 42, the lone wolf, right? Mentality, embrace the climb.
I like that episode.
And I know you do. So let's see, what was it about?
Don't do that. You recap your episode.
So this is one of the ones that I did a solo episode, and it was about basically the lone wolf, not necessarily being like alone. It was the fact that sometimes in life, and it doesn't necessarily mean just in business, but sometimes in life, you want to achieve a goal that doesn't align with your circle. It doesn't align with, the people you hang out with or whatever. But sometimes you're going to have to walk your journey alone for a little while, and that's okay. But know that you can find other circles to join in. But when you're the lone wolf and you're climbing up the mountain, right? The wolf climbing towards the goal is always going to stay hungrier than the wolf on top of the mountain, right? So honestly, this one was kind of a deep episode. I definitely recommend going back and listening to it. It's not a super long episode, but it really dives more into, I just want to make sure that we cover everything today, but it really dives into the fact that you achieve a goal in life, right? Let's say for Nate, right? He lost 245 pounds here, but 345 pounds total. And some people are like, well, shit, I accomplished that. Cool. I'm on top of the mountain. He has been constantly pushing himself, trying to see either, more muscle gain from doing like the in-body scans. He's been trying to see more vascularity. Like there's other mountains to climb. Just because you reach your goal doesn't mean it's over. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're not there yet. Right. So it's like, now you've reached that mountain. Awesome. Now go to the next peak. Yes. Stay climbing. Right? Just be better than you were yesterday.
Like Patty's shirt, climb with courage.
Yeah, there you go. So make sure that you're always setting your next goal. It's like, yes, celebrate the wins, but at the same time, make sure that you're setting yourself up for continuous growth, right? And it doesn't need to be huge growth every day. Again, it's just be better than you were yesterday, right? Do one thing that improves your day, right?
G knows what's up. She says you got to move on to the next goal. There's always a higher mountain.
And if you think you're at the top, you're not, I promise.
Yep.
And then
you guys gotta look up.
If you're looking up to someone, they're above you. Mm-hmm. Try to start climbing. So definitely, I recommend listening to that one. That was a solid one. All of them are solid, but that one, it dives a little more into that and it'll get you a little motivated. But lesson cap number 8, number 49, or lesson cap 8, episode 49. Fitness equals mental health. Nicholas,
can you elaborate on that?
We were talking about this is how Nick plays this game.
So many episodes. I was like, wait, what was that one?
Well, we're going to dive into this a little bit before we dive into the recap. Right? We were talking, and I was like, it's the 100th episode. Like, what do you want to talk about? And I had to do some other stuff real quick, and I was like, think about what we should do today. He's like, all right. And then he's like, I started walking away, and he was like, but real quick, do you have I already knew it was going to be, do you have a genre of what you want to talk about? And he was going to try to basically keep asking me questions. So I gave him a topic, and I was like, right before I was like, we're not playing this game today. But going into this one, fitness equals mental health, right? Fitness is about changing your body. Yes. Fitness is about, lifting weights or running. There's different aspects of it. Yes. But the thing that you don't realize is there is a mental component to it, right? There's mental tools that are built from fitness, right? Your dedication, your motivation, basically progressions, right? So either strength or just your natural physique or whatever the case is, but there's nothing you can do to just get that next progression except for one, stay dedicated to your goal and continuously create a habit around it, but also knowing that sometimes it takes time. You're not going to just, be at your goal right away. So fitness helps build patience, right? Actionable patience. But there's also the aspect of fitness that there's the mental side to it, right? There's actually hormones. There's, hormones in the brain that get released from, endorphins. And then there's actually one that I believe it's called, I want to say it was called like the hope molecule, or I forget whatever they called it, but it was like on a TED Talk. And it's the fact that, damn, I forget what it was called, but it wasn't the hope one. That was a different one. But anyways, when you're working out, you do have more brain activity, right? So if you're studying this, I used to do this all the time. You'll be studying for finals, or you'll be studying for a test, or you have a super strenuous day the next day in work. You already know you're going to be putting out fires. Go get a workout in, and I guarantee you that ideas will start popping into your head as you're working out, right? And it's because the blood flow is increased, right? The nutrition to the brain is increased, and there's so many different aspects that are going on that it's not just about the workout itself, right? And also, working out is a huge stress reliever, right? It can bring down your cortisol levels. Cortisol basically retains fat, so it's like all these things happen, and all of them are triggered by the brain, right? Did you want me to elaborate more? Or?
No, that was good for them, but that was good.
All right, so the next one you got. So we got lesson cap number 9, episode 51, the thief of joy.
It's comparing yourself to others.
Hey, you remember it from when we were talking about it. So the thief of joy, right, is comparison. Explain.
So, I mean, so when you kind of compare yourself to other people, when you're comparing yourself to either, it could be from another person from your gym, somebody around you, or in your circle, or even, unfortunately, what a lot of people tend to fall into these days is social media, what you see on the internet. It's putting yourself down in the sense of something that you are not currently at, or something that you start to think that you cannot attain, right? Because you're comparing yourself to something that is not you, what you're not in your state at the moment. So to me, it's like when you're aiming towards like your goal, and like, or you're somewhat close to it, or you do attain a certain milestone or anything, you're supposed to feel some form of joy, right? Like happiness, right. Like I achieved something. But when you start to kind of paying too much attention, or diving too much into comparing yourself, which is completely different, to other people, we don't see anymore like the progress and the wins that we have, or that we get. It's like you're concentrated on what someone else is doing instead of what you're doing. Right.
Yeah, you're like, well, why are they already there and I'm here, right? Now you're spending this time focusing on what they have, what you don't have, what they can do, what you can't do, right? And now you start basically creating a negative self-talk within yourself, and now all of a sudden that starts to create self-doubt, self-pity and all that stuff. And it's like you're spending your time, comparing yourself, when again, they're not comparing themselves to you, right? They're not judging you either. They're above you. Start climbing, be that lone wolf on your journey, focus on what you need to focus on, and just, celebrate the small wins. Again, when I say celebrate, it's, give yourself a pat on the back, depending on what it is. Even go out to dinner if it's, let's say, career-wise or something. But it's like you don't need to do something lavish and have these, huge cheat meals, or go on this crazy vacation because you hit a small goal. It's like you hit a small goal, accept it, be proud of yourself for it, but keep going on, and realize that if you're comparing yourself to others, you're just setting yourself up to start that self-doubt and that self-talk that, it's going to inhibit you from hitting your goals.
Right. And I don't know if you, in this in particular, like, I don't know if you personally have like, I guess like a certain, I don't know what to call it, like tactical mindset or anything. Cause like, I thought about it, like when we talked about that topic, and I was like, when I go to the gym, or I guess in just different aspects, but when I go to the gym, or when I get a workout in, or anything, at least in this case, health and fitness related, I don't find myself comparing to anybody else, because like if I do, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm hating on anybody else, but it's like when I do see positive or negative things in other people, immediately my brain just tells me like that this has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me, and it doesn't help me. It doesn't help me get to where I'm trying to get to, and it's like you know what I mean? Does that make me selfish?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it.
In terms of comparison, no. Like, I mean, you're saying like judging them or being worried about what they got and what I don't have, like it doesn't do anything for me. So why am I going to focus on it?
Yeah, and I think I'm more, I guess, because I'm a time aware, like I'm a person that's aware of like fucking my time is precious. Like me sitting, even wasting mind space, thinking about like, oh, like why does this person have this? Why do they look like that? It's like I don't give a shit.
But also like going into like, we'll actually talk about the next one. Actually, I'll give you my answer as we go into the next one because they kind of tie in together now looking at it. So the next one is lesson recap number 10 from episode 61, which talks about basically gratitude and visualization. Boom, bitch. But why I say it ties in. So the visualization part where if you're starting to, before we go into this aspect, going back to what you're saying, like if you're seeing someone else and you're comparing yourself to them, right? And now you're basically talking negative about them, you're judging them, or you're basically being hard on yourself. All that is basically telling your subconscious either that you can't do it or that you don't approve of that or you don't want that, right? So that vision in your brain is everything that you're basically talking negative about. It starts to just sink and set right in the foundation of basically your subconscious. So now you're not going to do things that you naturally just would, or you're not going to see the opportunities that would allow you to progress towards your goal, right? Because when you're talking about, visualizing something, it comes down to your subconscious, right? So you can do the whole, writing it down and doing all that stuff. If that's for you, it's not for everyone. It works for some people. It doesn't work for some people, right? And at the end of the day, you just have to be grateful for the accomplishments that you've gotten and the progress that you've made. I mean, me and you have had conversations like we're guilty of this as well. Sometimes we get hard on ourselves because we're not where we want to be. But at the same time, when we look at it, it's like, dude, we haven't even been open for, the amount of years that they're open. And at the same time, for us, it's like we've talked about this on a recent episode as well. Even if someone's in the same industry, let's say someone else owns a gym and they're growing, right? Like, I don't feel jealous that they're growing, right? I'm actually like happy for them because I'm like, oh shit, like that's sick. That's working for them, right? Congratulations. And at the end of the day, yes, we're competition, but at the same time, I'm all about collaboration, right? And I can pick ideas from what they're doing. They can pick ideas from what we're doing. And that's how you keep growing collectively. Yes, at the end of the day, are we competition? Yes. But if you only focus on judging or comparing to them, it's like, why not just focus on what are they doing? How can I do that? So now you just take that out. Like, you don't have that much time in the day where you can just waste that time and sit there and be a little judgy bitch, right? So actually sit there and learn. Obviously, they're doing something that works. So instead of sitting back and being, just talking like crap, it's like sit back and analyze. What are they doing? Obviously, something's working for them. See if you can pick out what it is and then start doing it because obviously it fucking works, right? It's not like you need to do your own way just to do your own way. Like that's why people hire mentors and coaches and advisors because they've done it already, right? But going into gratitude and, I kind of talked about the visualization, but like gratitude, I'll talk about because I want you to talk about the other one. Again, you have to be grateful for where you are, the accomplishments that you've made, but also that you woke up today, right? There's little things that you can be grateful for, right? Be grateful that you have, a mom, a dad, or, whatever your situation is. Be grateful that you have an awesome, job. Be grateful, whatever the case is for you, like find what you're grateful for and don't focus on things you're not grateful for or that you don't like. Just improve those. And then be grateful for the fact that you're willing to go through the process of trying to better yourself again day by day. And you want to, achieve success in any area of life. What are your thoughts on this?
Sorry, I was trying to scroll on the comments.
Geraldine, your brain tells you a lot, Nick.
That's what I was literally trying to listen to you and trying to read the comments at the same time because there was a lot going on that I didn't even see. Oh, because that was from the other topic before. But my bad. Okay, say the last part one more time.
It's the fact that basically.
It was gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. No, I basically said, what are your thoughts on basically gratitude, visualization? Like, what are your thoughts? What are your, beliefs? What do you do?
Well, I mean, I think it does, like I was listening to some of it. Like, it does tie in kind of like to the past couple recaps that we just went over, that if you're grateful for one, not just of currently where you're at, but the opportunities that kind of like you've been presented with, it only not only makes you stronger, but it actually helps like the next steps to come, like what's coming forward, because it's ties in with perspective. It's like, are you just thinking negative of like what you don't have, what you're lacking, or what the fuck is going wrong? Or are you thinking more so like, I'm grateful for having the opportunity to have these things? Or what's crazy is that some people actually, they like train their mindset to be in a sense of like, even when bad things go wrong, they think of it, they try to turn their mind frame into, I'm grateful for having the opportunity to overcome this like obstacle, because from that overcoming this problem or this obstacle, I'm a lot smarter, and now that I've experienced this thing, that'll help me avoid these things in the future, and or maybe I can help somebody else like around me with the same scenario. So just being grateful of any situation that you may be like able to go through that no one else is able to.
Right. Just be grateful for the opportunity, right? And every opportunity, whether it's good or bad, if it's bad in your eyes, then it's a tool, right? So before we go into the last 5 topics, we're going to do the raffle, right?
Oh, all right.
So how it's going to go is basically there's a time limit on this. So if ideas come to your mind, I'll give you guys a little bit of time. Basically, I'll tell you when the time starts, but we're going to go 5 minutes. And how you basically get an entry is writing out a topic that you want to hear in the next 100 episodes, right? So we've already covered 100 episodes. There's a lot of topics that we've covered. As you can see, we just, talked about some of the stuff in basically episode 61 from the gratitude. But again, we want to know what you guys want to hear about. We want to talk about, we want to explain about, we want to bring guests on that are related to those topics. Like one of the guests that I'm going to try to get on, she's a behavioral specialist for children, right? So like the mindset of different things, but for parents, like, what do you want to hear? It doesn't just have to be about fitness. It doesn't just have to be about, entrepreneurship. Like, what do you want to hear about in the terms of mindset, perspective, any tools or stuff like that, like therapists, like all that kind of stuff. Like I'm willing to interview, whoever you guys want to have on. So basically for the next 5 minutes, we'll start at the top of the minute. So basically for the next 5 minutes, if you give a topic or I would say give a topic that you want to hear or, have us discuss within the next 100 episodes, then Nick will record it down, and then we'll basically do the raffle at the end of or closer to the end of the show, right? So give Nick a little bit of time to create the spin wheel and all that kind of stuff. But again, the winner for the second raffle, you're going to get your pre-workout. So before your workout, right? From First Form, you can choose your flavor for the megawatt. You're going to get your intro workout, which is going to be your BCAAs. Again, you can choose your flavor. And then you're going to get your post-workout, right? From, again, First Form, level 1. If you're vegan, we do have vegan protein as well as you'll get one of the pre-released Mindset Cafe shirts. If you're the winner, just like the raffle one, I'll basically DM you afterwards, get where you want me to ship it to, and we'll ship it to you as well. So starting now for the next 5 minutes, basically, if you have a topic that you want to hear in the next 100 episodes, let us know, drop it in the comments, and then you have to be on the live so that you can actually claim the prize. Basically, in 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, but at the end of the raffle, I'll tell you to give me a thumbs up if you're the winner. And if you don't give me a thumbs up within a minute, we're gonna spin it again, right?
Mm-hmm. So you guys, I should be seeing like fucking comments right now on of what topics you guys want to see, because I'm taking your names down.
So if you give us a topic, in a few minutes we'll be spinning it, and then you get your pre, you get your intra, and you get your post workouts plus the pre-released Strive shirt. As Nick is going through that, we're going to go into the next lesson recap, right? Lesson recap number 11, and then Nick, write down what the topic is as well, please, if you can, or just screenshot it, that on your phone as they go.
Yep, got it.
So
Richie threw up a thumbs up.
So lesson recap number 11 from episode 72. This one was with an author, Justin Prince. He's also a motivational speaker as well. Like a great episode. We actually dived into a lot of stuff on that one. But his book and a lot of the stuff that we talked about was about being the one, right? And then the E plus R equals O. I'll explain that in a second. But be the one is basically be the one in your family that changes the direction of your family legacy, right? Be the one. And that doesn't mean that, you're all of a sudden you're the millionaire, right? If your family's never had someone that's lost weight and you want to be that one person, like you're going to set a standard for generations to come. So when you leave a legacy, it doesn't necessarily always mean financial or material things. It's the impact that you leave, the message and the lessons that you leave for future generations, right? So with that being said, if you're the one, like you have to think, I think Justin, the way he said it was, if you think back, 5 generations or 10 generations, like it came out to like 9,000 people had to basically live their life and meet for you to become who you are today, right? So if you start going down like the family trees and you start, basically going up, it comes out to a crazy amount of people. If you thought about who was the first person from your family that came to the U.S., who was the first person that, for you, Philippines, right? But it's like when you think about that, like your great grandparents, it's like they had to live their life. They had to basically achieve their stuff to progress the family legacy forward and so forth and down the line. So there's nothing stopping you from being the one in your family that is a millionaire. There's nothing that's stopping you from being the one that is the healthy one, that is the fitness addict that, is motivating the rest of their family to be healthy. There's nothing stopping you from being the one on anything, right? So be the one in your family that leaves the legacy, right?
I'm trying to be the one,
And then the E plus R equals O. We also talked about a few episodes again that recapped it, but basically E is basically event, R is result, and then O is the outcome, right? So events are the inchangeable things that happen to you on a daily basis, or how we talked about, you get into a car accident, or you get into let's say your alarm doesn't go off, right? You can't do anything about that, but your response to that is 100% in your control. So your response to that, if you're being proactive or reactive, also kind of plays into what I mean by that result. Like, is it an emotional decision, emotional reaction, or is it a logical reaction, right? So your result, or your basically what you do from that event happening, dictates the outcome, right? Dictates how the rest of your day is, right? Are you mad for the rest of the day because you got cut off in traffic? Now you think about this the rest of your day. It's like, okay, it happened, you honked, whatever, let it go. The outcome happened. Now you're not thinking about it for 2 hours, right? But you have to realize that the O's in your life, so the outcomes that you make up, since you're able to change the response, the O's in your life are someone else's E's, right? So your outcomes are someone else's events, which is their inchangeables. So would you rather be a positive event in someone's life or a negative event in someone's life? Would you rather walk into the door and right out the gate, yell at your kids, and now they can't do anything about it, you yelled at them? You can't control when you yell. Or when you walk in the house, all of a sudden you're having you're tired, you don't feel like doing anything, but you say hi to them, give them a hug, right? It's those little things that it's an inchangeable thing for someone else, but you dictate how it actually happens, right? So just realize that. I
like that a lot.
It's like that ripple effect, right? Your actions can dictate another person's day. So why not make sure that your actions are, in positive manner? Strolling right along.
I'm just saying, like the whole perspective aspect of like.
No, I see that. Yeah,
that hits hard, bro. Like,
no, that book in general was a great book, and also honestly, the episode 72 with Justin Prince, like that honestly, like I was excited to have him on.
Yeah, definitely listen to that one.
I'm not saying I'm not excited to have the rest of the guests on, but, it was one of those things I read his book, and it was, it was definitely cool. And like the message and everything does definitely go deep. Another aspect actually that came from that book as well, it had me thinking for lesson recap number 12 from episode 77, white belt versus black belt mentality. So what would you think that is, if you had to think about it, white belt versus black belt? Well, first one, have you ever done like martial arts or anything?
I mean, like not an actual like.
Okay, never mind. I take that back. Hold on. Because it's like the skills and everything at level 1 at white belt versus the skills obviously at black belt are completely different, right? Mm. But at the same time, if you've done martial arts or anything of that nature, you realize that like black belts, there's also levels to it. There's a first degree, a second degree, a third degree, a fourth degree. So if you are walking around with the black belt mentality of I've already achieved this, I'm the best that I can be, you're limiting your growth. So if you always have a white belt mentality, thinking and having that humility that you can always learn, you'll continue to grow. So it's have a white belt mentality in life, right? If you have a black belt mentality, that's the end of the colors, right? So it's like, that means you're done learning. So not saying that you're not a black belt, but you're a black belt with a white belt mentality because there's something else to learn. There's another skill to learn. You can always get better, right? And you guys, I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds for the raffle number 2. 30 more seconds.
1 entry per person.
Yeah. Unless you want to run in multiple entries, you can do it.
I was just saying because like some of them are dropping, multiple topics and stuff. So yeah, anybody not dropping the topic, you're sleeping. I'm about to take these supplements myself.
So basically always have a white belt mentality, right? Going into recap number 13, one more mindset. Do you know the Ed Milet, one more mindset?
One more rep? Is something like that?
One more, yeah.
Oh, like when you think you're done, when you think you've given all you have, like you actually have probably one more.
No, I mean honestly, that's not that far.
Right? I thought it was a guess.
No, but it's not. It's like these are the cool sayings that it's like it's an easy saying. Never give up, right? One more. And the saying came from Ed Milet and his dad. His dad was an alcoholic, and basically he told it, Ed Milet, that he had been, sober for however many years. I don't want to, quote years and stuff like that for topics like that. So he basically told him, that, he has been sober for X amount of time. And Ed Milet was like, well, are you going to be sober for, this amount of time also? And then his dad said, I'm not sure. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to be sober for one more day. And then tomorrow and then that got him thinking. And it's like, you may not think that you can run 100 miles, right? But can you just do one more? And then you hit it, and then can I just do one more, right? So breaking it down into just doing one more, right? It allows yourself to see that finish line, and you're motivated to push towards that finish line. And you get there, and then you set your next goal that we were talking about. You're always setting the next goal. You set it towards the next one, and then the next one, right? Do you think that, we're going to, work out today or work out tomorrow? Yeah. What about the next day? I know I'm going to work out tomorrow, right? Just focus on the small goals sometimes. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to plan everything. You don't need to commit to everything. But it's something that's a habit. Just know that just do it one more time, right?
When life is kicking your ass in the ring, and you're like, I'm just going to go one more round.
Exactly.
I'm going to go one more round.
All right. So the raffle has been closed. Nick can go through and make sure he gets everyone's inputs and everything.
I was gonna put a couple in there, and then I read the comment. I was like, "Y'all play too much with me."
So, with that being said, again, just it's about doing one more, right? It's the fact that you don't always have to think. You don't look at the vision, for Ed Milet's dad. Cannot be sober for the next 10 years. Like, shit, that's a long ass time. Obviously, he wants to be, but can he commit to it? He doesn't know, but he knows he can be just sober for at least one more day, right? So before we go into the last two, Nick, you want to spin that wheel?
And the winner of the second raffle is Lynette.
We got Lynette as winner 2 of the raffle.
Congratulations, Lynette. What's you?
So Lynette, you'll basically be getting your pre-workout. You're going to get your BCAAs, and then you'll be getting your protein as well as the Mindset Cafe shirt. So we'll get that all over to you. I'll talk to you afterwards.
Congratulations, Lynette.
Yeah. So that's, raffle number 2. Make sure you guys don't exit now. All of a sudden you heard both the raffles though, right? We want to still finish up with the last 2 recaps. But before we do that real quick, do you have anything else to add to the one more, or do you want to just move on from there?
No, we can go. You hit it pretty much right on the nail, and it's pretty straightforward in a sense of just, kind of applying that one more rep.
Perfect. I was just trying to finish typing. All right. So,
use me.
So we got recap number 14 from episode 91. This is one of our Friday Night Lives, the competitive mindset. And I want to we'll tie that into basically the recap number 15, which is going to be overcoming your plateaus, right? So I'll let you, since you were here, I know you remember those conversations. Competitive mindset, your quick overview on the pros and cons of it, and then how would you use that in overcoming plateaus?
So pros and cons of the competitive mindset is, kind of that you using it in a sense of a you versus you, positive to, hold yourself accountable, push yourself beyond your own limits. And always kind of betting on yourself type thing,
right.
know, that mind frame or that mindset of no matter the circumstance, you're always gonna, choose yourself or know that you're not gonna give up, or you're gonna do whatever it takes to, beat or accomplish a task. Versus the cons of having the mindset of you're competitive, but to what extent? Are you hurting other people? Are you ruining other people? Are you bringing them down? You know what I mean? Or yourself as well. Are you telling yourself that you're a worthless species? Those are the kind of cons that you don't want to have in that competitive mindset.
Do you censor yourself?
Sort of. And then kind of tying that into the plateaus, that if, if you find yourself lingering in that mental state of kind of either bringing yourself down or bringing other people down, that's just going to hinder you, or that you're more prone to hitting plateaus in a sense, because you're not in a positive mindset or a positive environment, to put yourself in more progression. But what I mean by that is kind of instead of concentrating on the proper steps to progress yourself, to avoid hitting plateaus, and thinking actually more clearly and strategically, the tasks that need to get done, you're stuck in a negative. It's more so positive, negative type thing. You're
right.
stuck in that negative mind frame. And then now you're not even concentrated about what you're supposed to be doing correctly. You're just kind of too worried about everybody fucking else. And, lo and behold, you're stuck at wherever the fuck you're.
Yeah. So
so
the competitive mindset, it's good. You can use it as your motivation. You can use it as your driving force, but don't let it have the effect where you're now judging other people and you're starting to create self-doubt and say, a negative self-talk within yourself because you're not where they are, right? You should still be grateful for where you are and know that you're pushing further, and be grateful for your work ethic, right? And overcoming your plateaus, it's the same thing, right? If you're focusing on other people, you're spending time away from actually focusing on your goals, and realize that you may be at a plateau if you're just going through the motions, or you're just showing up, right? Or it's those are little things that allow you to stay in the same place, right? But if you're focusing on just that progression of getting a little bit better, then you're going to be, better at the end of the year. But, with that being said, guys, thank you guys for, sharing the 100th episode with us. And
this was fun. And as you guys can tell, we appreciate you guys dropping your comments, engaging with us. That's what makes it.
Yeah. But Thanks, you guys. We'll see you guys on the next 100 episodes. And like always, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Make sure you guys share the show. Till next time, guys.